Welcome to the Snowpark series, session number 2, Set up a Snowpark Developer Workstation by Angela Harney. Watch all videos in this series in order to complete an entire solution for Snowpark. Angela Harney is a data engineer with extensive years of experience and is certified in Snowflake. We will be covering prerequisites, local installs, and troubleshooting. The videos in this series are intended for you to be able to pause the video and follow the steps in detail. There are just a couple of notes on prerequisites. If you create a new Scala application and the build file in your project defaults to 2.13 or higher, it is too high of a version to be used with Snowpark. This video will show you how to modify that file and change the version of 2.12 that you specifically install. Steps to install Scala can also be found later in this video. If you are an individual using Snowpark, you will want to use Java 8 so that you don't have to pay for a Java license, which is required with Java 11. To get started with the download and installs that you will need for your Snowpark Developer Workstation, download Snowpark to a folder that you create so that you have necessary rights. It is recommended that you create the folder at the root of your C drive for better visibility. Download Scala 2.12. It is recommended that it is installed from Metals within VS Code. We will cover how to install from Metals on a later slide. The Scala REPL allows you to set up the Snowpark libraries so that they are automatically available for every Scala application that you create without having to import them each time. If you want to do this, you can follow steps to add the preload.scala path to your run.sh shell file. Shown here is a copy of the run.sh file. A Scala application is started using the global run.sh file or a launch.json file local to the project. Install VS Code, then go to Extensions and install Scala Metals, following these instructions. You will be using a command line program called SnowSQL to upload .jar files to Snowflake, which contain a package of your application files. Uploaded .jar files contain methods from your applications which can serve as user-defined functions or as executables called from a Snowflake store procedure. You will learn how to create functions and an application for procedures, as well as how to upload jar files later in this series. You will need to set your default browser to Chrome when working with Snowpark applications. You can set it back when you are done. When an application runs and authenticates, 1 to 2 browser windows will be opened, informing you that you are authenticated. These can be closed once the text on the browser window indicates this. They do not need to remain open. You will not want to let too many of these stay open on your workstation as they will take up memory. When you are running your client application, you may get a debug adapter start failed error message. This can be due to many things, from improper syntax to the wrong default browser to improper folder structure in your project directory. VS Code is being used in this series as a development tool because of its versatility. However, a minor misstep in the sequence or interpretation of instructions can lead to the need for troubleshooting of your setup. We have condensed many of the troubleshooting solutions in these slides. You can always start from a Hello World project that runs successfully and enhance your code from there. VS Code uses SBT, which is an open source build tool. It has to be installed for every project. What it does during install is to establish the project folder layout in the .bloop directory below your project folder. When you start a project from a Scala template, such as Hello World, but want to use it for another application name, you will need to change the name of your application in the build.sbt file. After changing the name and saving the file, you will be prompted to import build, which will run the loop install to set up your project.